Are you exhausted of trying to control every outcome in your life? Are you drained by feeling like you're not getting the life that you deserve? Well, stop trying to control every aspect of your life and watch this video to know how to do that. So let's jump into it. Before we get started, there's a little red button down there that says subscribe. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Get used to my channel as we find empowerment through trials and we learn how to be confident and happy in the lives that we've been given. So it's right there. Just do it. After this video, you will be on your first step to learning how to let go of your need to control others and to control you. So watch the whole video because I promise this will be your first step to enjoying a life without feeling the need to control others and to control yourself. So in the comment box below, I would like you to answer this question. What do you try to control in your life? Is it the food that you eat? Is it the relationships that you have? Is it your thought process that you try to control? Is it trying to control the people that you work with or your children or your spouse or whatever it may be because you have this need to control or else you feel like you can't find peace? Leave in the comment box below, what is that in your life that you're trying to control so much that you feel like you're out of control by trying to control it? So there's kind of like this paradox that goes on, right? Because you do need to control your life and not let your life control you, but you also need to stop trying to control every element, aspect, and degree of experience in your life because it's probably causing stress, havoc, and anxiety, depression, whatever it may be, because you're trying so hard to control everything because you feel like you deserve these things, but for some reason it's just not working out. So let's go over the 4 steps that I have to help stop controlling your life, but to start taking control of your life. Number 1, what you're trying to control, whatever it may be, a relationship, a substance, an experience, whatever you may have, that ability to control is fulfilling a deeper need that your body's telling you. For example, right after someone has an argument with someone that they love, they tend to lash out really quickly on other people and they start to blame other people for the way that they feel and why they're acting the way they're acting. Instead of taking the time and reassessing where those thoughts, feelings, and emotions are coming from, which probably is from the argument you had with you know who right there, they like to lash out. They try to control other people and they become demanding to other relationships rather than working on what's happening internally inside of them. Your focus is trying to control something on the outside when you really need to be controlling on what's going on the inside. Number 2, how you control others, things, substances, and experiences is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. So let's say you have a hard time controlling your eating habits. You're letting your eating habits control you, so therefore you're out of control, therefore you want control. Does that make sense? So how you treat your body is actually how you're controlling everybody else, is a reflection of how you feel about you. Maybe you have some internal low self-esteem that you need to work on and discovering that. I have other videos on this, so make sure to hit the links below in the description to find out how to overcome your self-esteem, determine your worth, and stop feeling like you have to control everything because then you feel like you're out of control. Relationships get really complicated and they get complicated really fast, especially when people are trying to control a situation and or a conversation. But one thing I really have learned throughout my conversations with people is when there's ever a tactic of control, it is because they're feeling a lack of self-respect and a lack of low self-esteem. Therefore, they're projecting their low self-esteem onto you to try to control you because they don't know how to control themselves. This may be someone that you know in your life that does this to you, or it may be you doing it to other people. I know in my life, I tried very hard to try to control other people, but I wish somebody would have said, well, you know, maybe you should try to control yourself before you try to control other people, and accept who you are. Be accountable for those thoughts and feelings that you have, address them and work through them. Stop pointing the finger at someone else and trying to control them, because you feel like if you can control them, you can bring that sanity back into your life. That is not how it works. So number 3 kind of ties into our number 1 a little bit, and thinking about what number 1 was, the need of controlling something is probably something of the need to control inside yourself. So number 3 is, at any moment that you feel the need to control somebody, is it the time that your body's telling you that you need to release something inside? You have this built up of an explosion ready to go off, whether it's anger, depression, sadness, sorrow, anxiety, whatever it is that's going on inside. It's like a volcano just going off, and all of a sudden you start feeling the need to control your relationships around you because you don't know how to control what's going on inside of you. So you have this rumble going off ready to explode, but instead of taming what's going on the inside, you begin to explode on the outside. That was a pretty good analogy. Came up with that one on the spot. But really think about this, you guys. When you're in a conversation with somebody, and let's say it's getting kind of heated, readjust where you're at and realize, do I really need to control what that just happened there? Do I feel the need to control their thoughts, feelings, and desires in that moment? Or do I need to just own my thoughts, and feelings and actions, and say, I'm going to let that go. I don't need you to control me and how I feel, and I'm not going to control you and how you feel. This can become a very toxic relationship, and back and forth of having this control battle between two people and wanting to make someone feel a certain way or prove a point or let someone put someone in their place. They're all elements of trying to control somebody. But if you try to stop controlling others, you'll learn how to control yourself better. Therefore, others will stop trying to control you. Number 4 is really assessing what your choice of controlling is. So controlling doesn't always come down to people, right? It comes to addictions where it could be cleaning or makeup or clothes shopping or eating habits or drugs. There's many different facets that we try to control ourselves with so much in our lives that we forget the entity of who we are, and therefore we lose our worth and our value, because the world teaches us addiction is not good, and it isn't. But why are you having this addiction of control? Why are you trying to control everything else around you but not you? So really, this takes some therapy, some processing, and some self-reflection if you want to let go of that need to control everything in your life and gain back that control for yourself. So what is your choice of control? Figure that out. Distinguish that. Some people, it may be a workaholic. So, I mean, it could be a facet of anything that's not necessarily unhealthy, but it's your choice of a control because you feel like you can't control something else. So if you find that pattern of what you are trying to control in your life, when that happens again and you start feeling this overwhelming anxiety of need to control, you can say, actually, I just recognize that there's something going on inside of me because I'm trying to control what's going over there. So I'm going to take a step back here and I'm going to try to make sure I understand what's happening inside of me before I begin to explode my volcano into whatever that control is, an explosion of crazy cleaning. I used to do that when all of a sudden you start cleaning everything. You organize your pantry, you vacuum the floors 10 times, or maybe it's the workaholic thing. All of a sudden you find yourself binge working and you're at work over, till 10 p.m. at night because something is going on in your life, whether it's relationship wise, internally, that you're not addressing. So instead of over binging on these control substances or activities that you do, take that time to do a self-reflection. Slow down in your brain and in your heart. Make a plan if you need to know how to address it. But be accountable for you. Stop holding other people accountable for themselves. They're the only ones that can hold themselves accountable. You are the only one that can hold yourself accountable. This became a big back and forth in my marriage because I had so much anxiety of the need to have this perfect picture life of a husband and a child and the dog and the house and making sure bills were paid, making sure that the house was cleaned, that I started to notice I was trying to control everything in my life because inside of me I just wasn't happy. I was crumbling and I didn't know how to address it. So I started trying to address things I did know how to control. If you're at the point that you need to go to therapy to process through all of these things, I highly recommend that you do that. Make sure you're taking care of you because only you can be accountable for you. In my marriage, I started to try to feel like I was accountable for my spouse. And that became extremely unhealthy, as you can only imagine, especially in an emotional abusive situation. I was trying to be accountable for his actions that I had no rhyme or reason to be accountable for. I didn't do those things. I wasn't there when that choice was made. Why am I blaming myself? And it became very toxic because neither one of us were able to be accountable for ourselves, and therefore we started combating each other in that accountability. So set yourself free by stop trying to control the outside world and start controlling you. It's maybe a difficult video to share with somebody because I don't want you to share it thinking that you're trying to control them. But do share this video and let people know that they don't need to control the world around them. The only thing that they need to control and the only thing that they can control is themselves. So hit that share button if you want to help other people find that self-control.